Hello everyone. Today I'll discuss how children's literature can be used to promote understanding, empathy, and inclusion in early childhood education. So the two books I have selected are one is Say Yes, A Story of Friendship, Fairness, and A Vote for a Hope by Jennifer Castles, and I'm Australian too by Mem Fox. So children's literature is much more than entertainment. It helps children understand themselves, learn about each other's, and develop empathy for people with different experiences. Stories also provide opportunities to discuss fairness, diversity, and identity and belonging in different ways that young children can understand. Like according to Hayes and MC Mahan, children's understanding of themselves and others is influenced by their families, communities, and everyday experiences. Literature allows educators to build on these experiences and create inclusive learning environments where every child feels respected and valued. Throughout this presentation, I'll explain you the dominant messages in each story, describe how I use this book in an early childhood setting, discusses how they connected to each other's contemporary family context, and conclude with a reflection on the importance of children literature. So if you go to the next slide, there is about like the Say Yes, A Story of Friendship, Fairness, and A Vote for Hope dominant course. So the first book I selected is this one. This story was inspired by the Australian Marriage Equality Survey. Although it introduces a complex social issues, it does so through the simple ideas of friendship, kindness, fairness, and hope that young children can understand. The dominant discourse of the story is that everyone deserves equal respect and acceptance regardless of their family structure or background. The book encourages children to understand that differences should never stop people from being treated fairly. Instead, diversity should be celebrated because every family is unique and valuable. This message is important in early childhood education because children being developing attitude about fairness and inclusion from a very young age. So that educators have an important role in helping children build respectful relationship and appreciate diversity through everyday learning experiences. So other slide is about the teaching applications, as you can see in the pictures as well. After reading this story, I will extend children's learning through an inclusive classroom environment. I will provide books, posters, photographs, and different dramatic play resources that present different family structures, cultures, and communities. When the classroom, they develop a different strange sense of identity and belonging. One learning experiences could involve children drawing pictures of their families and sharing what makes their family special. Another activity could involve role playing situation where children practice kindness, sharing, and helping each other. Together, we could also create a class poster called Ways We Can Show Fairness and Kindness, where children contribute ideas about how to include everyone. As the educator, my role will be to encourage respectful conversation, listen carefully to the children's idea, and ask open-ended questions that promote critical thinking. For example, I could ask, how can we help someone feel included? Or why is it important to be kind even when people are different? The early year framework like version 2.0 highlights the importance of creating learning environment where every child experiences meaningful activities. Children can connect through the different of messages of fairness to their own everyday experiences. So the next slide is about the contemporary family context. So this story can be used to sensitively respond to many contemporary family aspects. So like for economic context, some children may experience poverty, house insecurity, or homelessness. By focusing on kindness and fairness rather than material possessions, the story reminds children that every person deserves respect regardless of their circumstances. For cultural diversity, educator can include Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders perspective alongside different family structures to help children appreciate Australia's diverse communities. This encourages respect for different cultural identities and experiences as well. So for social context, children who experience loneliness or social isolation can benefit from friendship activities inspired by the story. Working together in groups help children develop relationship and a strong sense of belonging, as well as for health and well-being context. Some children may live with family members who experience disability, mental illness, or substance use. As educator, we should avoid making assumptions about families and instead create emotionally safe classrooms where every child feels accepted. Using inclusive language, respecting family privacy, and building trusting relationship with families and important ways to support children's well-being. That's everything about the family context. So now we'll go to like next book, that is of I'm Australian Too by Mem Fox. This story celebrates Australia's multicultural identity by showing children from many different cultural backgrounds, including migrant and refugee families. It reminds readers that regardless of where someone was born or what language they speak, everyone belongs in Australia. The dominant discourse focuses on diversity, identity, respect, and belonging. The story encourages that every person contributes to Australian society. According to Hayes and MC Mahon, developing a positive sense of identity is closely connected to feeling accepted and respected within families, communities, and educational settings. This story helps children understand that diversity is a strength rather than a barrier. Next slide is about the teaching application. So to extend this story, I will create a multicultural learning environment where children cultures and identities are celebrated every day. Like the classroom could include world maps, so you can see in these pictures the different countries flags. We can make one posters or maps, cultural artifacts, books in different languages, flags, music, and photographs contributed by families. These resources help children see diversity as a normal and positive part of everyday life. Children could participate in activities such as sharing tradition family, like sharing family traditions, tasting foods from different cultures, learning greetings in different languages, and creating a classroom collage showing where their families come from, where this family came from. These experiences help children appreciate both their own identity and the identities of others. As the teacher, I will encourage respectful discussions and ensure that every child has opportunities to participate. I'd also invite families to share stories, celebrations, or cultural traditions, helping strengthen partnership between home and the early childhood service. The Early Years Learning Framework version 2.0 emphasizes that children develop a strong sense of identity when the cultures, language, and family experience are respected and valued. Let's go to the next slide about contemporary family context. So this story also connects strongly with contemporary family context. For example, for the economic context, children from financially disadvantaged peoples like families can help included because the story focuses on belonging rather than wealth or possessions. So every child is valued for who they are. For cultural diversity, the story celebrates Australia's multicultural population and recognizes the experiences of migrants, refugees, and First Nation families. According to the Australian Bureau of Statistics 2021, Australia is one of the world's what do you call one of the world's most culturally diverse countries, making cultural inclusion on an essential part of early childhood education. For social context, some children may live in rural or isolated communities or experiences difficulty making friends. Group activities, storytelling, and collaborative play can strengthen relationship and create a stronger classroom communities. For health and well-being, educators will provide emotionally safe environments where children from families experiencing disability, mental illness, or other challenges feel respected and supported. Building positive relationship with families and responding sensitivity to children's individual needs helps promote well-being as well. So the next part is about the reflection. So reflecting on both two books, I believe that children's literature is one of the most powerful ways to teach empathy, fairness, and inclusion. Stories helps children understand different family structures, families, cultures, and life experiences without creating fear of judgment. Future connection or it's a future educator, we need to choose books that reflect the diversity of today's families and communities. We also need to extend stories through meaningful learning experiences so children can apply these ideas in everyday life. Like at the last, there's conclusion. To conclude, both Say Yes Story and I'm Australian to book provide valuable opportunities to teach fairness, inclusion, belonging, and respect for diversity. These stories remind us that every child observes deserves to feel accepted regardless of their family structure, culture, language, or personal circumstances. As educators, our role is to create learning environments where these messages are reflected through our teaching, resources, and relationship with children and families. By using inclusive literature alongside meaningful learning experiences, we can help children develop empathy, celebrate diversity, and build a strong relationship with each others. These are the important skills that will support them not only in early childhood but throughout their life.